What's up, guys, and welcome to this. This is episode 7 of the 25 Years Ago Wrestling podcast, your favorite as our favorite podcast series. I'm host LK, joined by Brad for another ECW show. Episode 6 was Hardcore TV for the 30th of January. The next episode 8 and 9, for those who are going to be skipping this because they do not enjoy ECW, will be Raw and Nitro from February the 5th, 1996. So get those shows watched.
Do you know when the next one is for ECW?
Sometime in late February. I think it might be SiberSlam. So I think we have a few weeks off of ECW.
So we'll see you in 2 weeks or whatever. Well, let's have a look, see when SiberSlam is. Because if you're here for ECW content, I could tell you exactly when that is. So if you're here for that, SiberSlam is on the 1996, February 17th. So if you're here for that, tune in again on the like sort of around that date, and then we'll be able to obviously go through that show as well. But yeah, that's it. We're not doing the weekly shows anymore. We've decided that it's a load of shit. So I mean, he's going to say it a bit more democratically, but that is my assumption. It's a complete mess. So we're going to just do the pay-per-views, aren't we? Okay. Yeah,
because in the end of the day, it's highlights of the big show. It's like, why don't we just cover the big shows, then we can actually get a gist of what's going on. I just think it's a more smart way of doing it. But before we get down to actually breaking down the show, you are a paid subscriber for the Wrestling Observer. So we're not stealing this information. You've kind of paid for it, kind of like a source. You pay for the information. We, being you, have taken the snippets out of the Observer for this show for what Uncle Dave, Dirty Dangerous Dave Meltzer, has to say about this, not this show, kind of news surrounding it. So break down the news. And what I want you to do is next time, when you do this, don't send it to me, because I would like an actual kind of reaction type thing where it's kind of live, kind of, oh, Meltzer said that and it pissed me off, or Meltzer said that, that's a great shout. So next time, don't send it.
Okay, well that's fine. So, there's not really that much of opinions, to be fair. So the February 3rd show in Queens, New York, drew another sellout of about 1,200 fans. Which, when you saw where it was in a blooming gym room with a basketball net with the ECW logo on it. It's so budget, it's ridiculous. And $27,000. The number was slightly down from the first show because of complaints from people who couldn't see the actual event, but they still turned away several hundred. So, they're fairly popular. I think 1,200 fans is that sizable for like a sort of 1996 show? I mean, you're talking. I think if you're UK based, I think you're talking something like Manchester Academy sort of size. So it's all right.
Respectable. I think very respectable. Yeah. And this isn't at the peak. They haven't got a TV deal yet at this point either. It's just, I think that, and especially the fact they turned away lots of people, I think that's a good show. And 27k gate. That's obviously before merch or anything, and they're probably doing knockoff VHS sales as well. But it's, 27k, when you think of how many wrestlers were on this show.
And inflation as well.
Inflation. Exactly. Yeah. So, but if you 27,000, there was easily 40 wrestlers on this show. You got it. So, and referees, and how on earth they survived this long? These guys on like $250 a night. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta. Yeesh! It kind of scared me when I saw 27,000 when you sent the notes, thinking, "Oh shit! How much did these talent get paid for this?" Absolute mental stuff, but yeah, that's a good figure to know. That's an interesting figure to know, because
you're on about 1996 numbers.
Yeah.
So I think if we do an adjusted for inflation, I know this is boring as hell, but if we go from 1996 to 2021, so $1 in 1996 is actually the equivalent of $1.66.
Okay, so we'll probably say roughly around about a 45,000 gate now. So that's quite respectable. That's all
right. That's very good. That exactly. So yeah, we have that. So the next next one is, they were recording for the TV show Current Affair. I have no idea what this is, so let's move on. I don't know much about American television. I don't know if you necessarily do or not, so that's fine. The next is a result, so I'm not going to read that one. 911 apparently is history. He was either fired or quit, depending upon who talks. But the basic problem is he didn't want to put Taz or Sabu over.
Oh, God. 1996, eh? You wouldn't have that now, would you? You wouldn't have that now. Like, it's all well and good, the older generation kind of bashing the younger generation. And I think a lot of them do it to keep relevant. Same as Vader when he bashed Ospreay. He actually had no problem with Ospreay and wanted to make, good money with him, which he did. But it's kind of like, imagine being kind of not up yourself, but imagine being that uptight about pro wrestling that you're told as a paid performer, you're going out there in a fictitious sport where you're not actually winning anything. Even if you win the world title, as great and magnificent as that must be, you're not technically winning it. But if you're told, hey, can you go over and put Taz over? Can you go put Sabu over? It's your fucking job. Like, that stuff is absolutely mental. Whether how true that is or not, like he said, I like how he puts it, depending on who you talk with. I like that he's kind of covering his ass, because he's basically saying lots of people tell me different things. But either way, that's a proper... 911 was decent on the hardcore TV show, so that's quite disappointing. I
mean, I assume he'll come back. He'll have some contract or money offered to come back. But, and this his thing is just sort of biding his time. But, I mean, I guess he just doesn't want smaller guys winning over him, which is... a bit ridiculous, but there, because he's a tall guy, isn't he? But there we are. It's just I think it's a bit ridiculous anyway. So Woman appeared on this show, basically doing the same angle she did in Philadelphia with a different twist. Again, trying to get Sandman to go to WCW, and also Scorpio. And again, Scorpio turned her down and carried her to the back of the building and threw her out. This was a correction from last week, apparently. He says in the segment in Philadelphia, they never used the term whore on woman, but only used the term bitch. So it's not that bad as...
Fuck's sake. Why is that relevant? Do you reckon people were sat there sending him P.O. boxes? Sandman did not say the word whore. Like, oh man, why does that matter? Unbelievable.
I don't know. I'm just reading this just pissing myself at times. Okay, so Juventud Guerrera made a surprise debut, which he did. So apparently Psychosis was actually at the border, but because his visa had expired, Rey Mysterio Jr., as he was called, went back and brought back Juventud Guerrera with him to New York, and the two didn't arrive until late. It says who wins the match. Can't be bothered reading that. But as well as this, obviously Chris Jericho debuted on this show. You've not seen this, but when we get to this part of the show, I will actually sort of stop you, I guess, and just talk about that match. But it is on the network, but it is on a Hidden Gems collection with no commentary. So if you want to watch that match, that's how you have to watch this. It's not actually part of the show for whatever reason, but it was on this show. So... apparently Paul Heyman is rumoured to book Mysterio Jr. versus Guerrera for February 17th in Philadelphia, March 8th in New York, and March 9th in Philadelphia. However, there's a lot of pressure from WCW for Conan, who is intermediary, to have them work for WCW instead of ECW. In case that's it for them, they actually ran an angle where Mysterio Jr. was carried out after Taz hit a suplex on him. Woman came out and told the fans, you can see the kind of action you're seeing tonight every Monday night live on television, and said she wasn't leaving. So Sandman and Scorpio carried her off again. Stevie Richards and Blue Me then confronted Sandman and Raven, ordered them to beat him up. Sandman then choked me.
Cut. I'm sorry. I'm reading as you're talking. And
yes.
This guy, before you went on there, this guy, it's his writing, again, this is 25 years ago, so touch wood, his writing's improved. But I'm trying to read and I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm reading, and it's just such a cluster. It is a fucking state. This is literally what my 12-year-old brother would do if he was told to write a fucking small story for English GCSE Year 7. It is fucking tragic. It's honestly, this is dog shit. Like, he's just saying everything that's happened, and it's just boom, 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 boom. And it's like reading, you can barely take a breath. It's comments are just a state. Like, what on earth is going on? You pay for this.
I did say this. He doesn't. He gets the information in, but he does do it in a way where you have to read it like you're reading a kid's story, and Key Stage 2.
I could picture it. He sat there with his, I reckon he's got a Mac now. I reckon he's all up to date with a nice Mac. So I'm picturing him there with a Mac, that tongue sticking out. And he's fucking typing away. And as he's typing, I reckon he gets a bit giggity. It's like a bit like, ooh, like a bit really excited. And he just can't stop himself. He's just got to type because he's just that excited about what he's typing. That's why I think it's a load of mumble bumble. It's really hard. And again, nothing against the guy, but
yeah,
damn, it's hard. It's a hard read. I couldn't picture reading however many pages of this there is.
There's tons. This is just ECW. Raven then came out and told Richards he was sick of him and threatened him, telling him he screwed up by not making sure Beulah took her pill every day. Richards then announced a sexual harassment lawsuit against Missy Hyatt, which was basically a spoof of Hyatt's deal with WCW, claiming Hyatt molested him on this is weird, on television. He wound up with Hyatt and Summer getting together based on having Raven and Richard as common enemies. Hyatt's character will be called Mummy.
Oh, fuck me.
What's this taking the spoof of the harassment? What's that about?
Yeah, let me have a quick read of that. Where is it? A sexual harassment lawsuit against Missy Hyatt, which was basically a spoof of Hyatt's deal with WCW, claiming Hyatt molested him.
Molested him.
Who molested who? Pronouns. Who molested him? Who's him? Who's him?
Stevie.
We're talking about...
She means Richards, but it's not written very clearly.
Okay, I'm confused. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We'll just skip to the next bit because we'll be here for the next 2 hours trying to analytically break down what the fuck Dave Meltzer's trying to write.
Yeah. Okay. Because of problems with the commission in New York, and there were many, Heyman decided against using blood until the last match on the show, which is fair enough. I'm not really that interested.
Smart.
So the February 2nd show in Reading drew a sellout with 550. Reading, PA, we have a Reading here, with Sabu over Cactus Jack on top, fair enough. Bam Bam Bigelow debuted in New York. Taz was calling for 911, but Todd Gordon came out, said that 911 was afraid of him. It's buried 911. Taz then went after Gordon when Bigelow made the save. It's not a done deal that Bigelow will work here, as he's still under contract with WWF, but they're at least going to make attempts at getting him to work with Taz, which is fair enough.
That's good.
And a correction. On the back of Cactus Jack's t-shirt, the last Philly show, it didn't really feature WWF Superstar as we had reported, but joined the new generation.
I'm glad Dave cleared that up because I was a state last week after reading. I was like, Dave, that's not what it said, and I just want to say big props to Uncle Dave because I was a state last week after that. Good.
He wants to make sure it's right off the focus. Honestly, this is it's right what he's saying. He's not said anything that's incorrect, but it's just really jumbled. Let's say that much. Trying to read it, it's quite difficult.
Quite difficult. Damn, that's a tough job. I think what you're gonna have to do is you have to read what he's put and kind of like take bullet points. Because otherwise, that's tragic. Dude, that's 13 minutes to break down half a piece of paper. In reality. Anyway, we're going to talk about ECW's Big Apple Blizzard Blast, brought to you by fuck Dave Meltzer. February the 3rd, 96, in New York City, Lost Billiton Hall, 1,200 fans. Talked about that already. We started off with Paul Heyman in the ring. He says the TV crew here are from Current Affairs. The crowd then chanted fuck you very loudly. What lovely humans. I bet you that poor cameraman when he turned up thought, I'm just going to go to a wrestling show. And then he turns up and these people I bet were pieces of shit on that because there was so much swearing from the crowd. Like, which is cool.
They can't use any of it.
Yeah.
They can't possibly use any of it though, the show that's recorded for it, which I'm hoping that I don't know how do you think they managed to actually get anything from the show to broadcast?
Maybe the ECW chants. Maybe just they're cheering and booing during matches because they don't constantly chant. They chant a lot, which to me is a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're trying to do a TV show for national television, when someone's telling you to fuck off, it's hardly the easiest thing in the world to make into a PC show. Also. Oh
yeah, but I guarantee you that it was Affairs or whatever. Sounds like just a kind of I don't know, like a dodgy TV show. Like low budget, like that's...
I've read it on Wikipedia. Actually, it's actually a fairly big newspaper that airs in syndication, although it is produced by Fox. So I guess that answers a lot.
Okay, yeah, that says a lot. That says a lot. Right,
Yeah.
opening match of the night. Taz versus the Shark. Fucking 15 minutes in. First match of the night. Taz versus Shark Attack Kid. Bill Alfonso is such a great heel. That whistle is so fucking annoying. Like, honestly, you just want to fucking... Oh, jeez. And Styles on commentary. I don't know how I feel about Joey Styles on commentary. Part of me thinks he's really great. The other part of me says he's really fucking annoying. That here, he did a good line. He said Shark Attack Kid, not to be compared to anyone from Kevin Sullivan's Dungeon of Dumb, which is obviously Kevin Sullivan's Dungeon of Doom. But like you said on episode 6, why are they, going at it with these guys? They're kind of like the little engine that could. It's like they're drawing 1,200 people, and Raw and Nitro at this point are doing 4, 5, 6,000. At least they're doing big buildings. The Rumble 96 was a big building. All the Nitro so far we've watched have been big buildings. It's kind of like ECW, know your place, simmer down.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, literally. There was Sabu chants for Taz in the ring. Paul Heyman made them wait over a year to get that match. That's fucking magic. It's absolutely magic. Taz fucks this guy up, gets to win with a Taz mission. Crowd are fucking mega hot for this. There's a Bill Alfonso and Todd Gordon fight, and then Bam Bam Bigelow comes in and makes a save. So, like you said on the Meltzer thing, Bam Bam and Taz presumably going to have a match. Obviously, it's not going to be as big as the illustrious, I think it was Heatwave 98. There was a big famous match from ECW in the late 90s of Taz and Bam Bam, which should be fun when we cover. But it was a squash. For Uncle Dave, I'll give it a star. Like, it was just a squash, and the poor bastard got fucked by suplexes. What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun match. It was a way to get Taz over. I still have no idea who this Shark Attack Kid is, but I don't think does it really matter who he is? Does that matter?
It matters to Dave. It matters to Dave.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see much of this Shark Attack Kid much, and if we do, then I hope that they do something a bit more than that with him. But it's just an enhancement match. It's not really something that we need to spend too much time on, is it?
No, absolutely not. Then we had Axel Rotten and El Puerto Ricano against the Headhunters. This was again another squash, but fuck me, the Headhunters were fucking awesome. I've really enjoyed them. The top rope moonsault, and these guys are fucking massive. I mean massive. Doing a top rope moonsault, the butterfly powerbomb, the elbow drop at the top. It was fucking magic. I really enjoyed it. I give it star and 3/4. I really enjoyed it. It was a squash, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. At this point, I'm like, okay, we're getting into it now. What was your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know this team, to be fair, that much. They were just a big bunch of, what were they, Japanese big men? Well, they were something. They were linked to Japan in some way. IWA, I think they said, and yeah, I mean, they were for how good they were very athletic. The big flip they did off the top rope to end the match, I thought was quite impressive. Obviously, it was quite a stellar performance, and I just thought, like, the big guys are sort of showing up some of the rest of the roster, and I can't wait to see them in like a sort of a more athletic and a more competitive match than just a straight squash. But to actually, as a highlight for me, just sort of getting them over initially, yeah, I'm interested to see that team. So they've done their job for me, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. Then we have the ECW World Tag Team titles with Cactus Jack and Mikey Ripwreck defending against the Eliminators, Cronus and Saturn. I'm confused why they have this shot, because the Eliminators lost to the Gangsters on the last episode of Hardcore TV, and they're, getting a title shot, but Joe Styles also talks through every single in-ring introduction, which really fucking irritates me, especially when, if you're watching this as kind of a newer fan just getting into ECW and you're hearing the introductions to, You know, obviously I knew everyone in this match, so it wasn't a problem. But imagine being a new fan and trying to sit down and work out who these guys are. That would fuck me off. It would really piss me off. So Joey Styles, episode whatever fuck it's going to be, Cyber Slam, don't talk. Please don't talk through in-ring introductions. This one was alright. Total elimination from the Eliminators get the win, new tag champs, and then post-match Francine talks to the Eliminators. They then take her out with the total elimination. Then the Pitbulls come out, who she managed, chokes them with chains. Chokes, dangling over the rope. It looked fucking horrible. And then Francine cuts Saturn's hair. I enjoyed that.
It was fun. I mean, they couldn't get away with something like that, especially the choke now, because obviously it's linked to, well, quite serious issues that's happened in wrestling since then. But outside of that, I thought it was quite a good beatdown, and obviously the viciousness of her to cut the hair was it was quite an intense moment, and one that made the show thoroughly enjoyable for me, I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, and it makes sense for Cactus and Mikey to lose the belts because Cactus Jack's off to WWF, isn't he? So it makes a lot of sense.
Pretty soon, yeah. I don't know exactly how long it'll be, but I don't think it'll be more than a few months at this point now.
No, I reckon because I remember, I think he debuts at Mind Games, I think. I cannot remember exactly.
No, I don't know, and I don't want it spoiled, but I know it's going to be a couple of weeks because it's just going in that way.
Absolutely. And then we have Shane Douglas and Tommy Dreamer against Raven and Stevie Richards. Obviously, Douglas is feuding with Cactus, so again, good stuff there. Man, Shane Douglas, why on earth this guy wasn't a major success in the WWF is a travesty.
He wasn't what they were looking for, was he?
But the guy's great.
Yeah, he might be good, but he's not a big guy, is he? And that's not what they were looking for at that point in time.
Yeah, but you got guys like Shawn and Bret. Imagine a Shane Douglas and Bret Hart.
I'm sure it probably happened, to be fair.
Did they give him a good gimmick, though, or did they make him a tool?
Well, it was Dean Douglas, wasn't it? He was the teacher.
What were you expecting? Like, if this Shane Douglas, the franchise, was able to go in like this...
Yeah. I'm saying I'm pretty sure him and Bret did have matches in WWF. I know him and Shawn definitely did, but he was as Dean Douglas. He wasn't as Shane Douglas. So no, I do get what you're saying, but they did happen. They just didn't give him enough of a sort of a chance to shine. Whereas in this match, I thought he was brilliant. It was a pretty intense match. If I remember correctly, they kept using the Nintendo on each other.
Yeah. Because fans basically just at this point generally bring their own weapons. Like some guys just imagine that now.
What, someone bringing a PS5 to an event?
Could you imagine that?
Yeah, but why would you bring like something that's worth hundreds of pounds to have it smashed over someone's head?
Unbelievable. And you're not getting it back because that'll be kicked under the ring and fucking that was Stevie Richards' fucking pay. That's what he got. He got a broken Nintendo. But no, that they enjoy the pile driver. Mr. Raven and Tommy Dreamer do. They hit that quite a bit. I enjoyed Douglas's hot tag. He hit a your favorite, which is an unprotected chair shot to Raven.
I hate these. There is a very good reason why I hate these as well. But yeah,
go on. We got time. Why
the whole condition deal with Benoit and everything like that. Just whenever I see an unprotected chair shot, it's like, oh god, you shouldn't really be doing that because it can like seriously mess you up.
I can guarantee you landing just flat on your back with your head hitting the mat first, which you won't see on TV, will hurt more than an unprotected chair shot.
Right, but I mean, they are banned now, aren't they, unprotected chair shots? They tried it once in AEW with what's his face, Ty Dillinger or whatever he's called.
Ty Dillinger. Yeah. I know what you mean when he came out, but not Brian Myers. Yeah. Fuck me, that says a lot about Ty Dillinger's character and All Elite Wrestling.
No,
Sean Spears.
That's it. Yeah. No, it's good. He's good in it. But when he hit Cody, that reaffirmed it to me when he like like had a bit of his like skull open or a bit of his like head open. Like it just is like there's too much that can go wrong with it. It's just it just it doesn't it's not enough to put me off watching the show, but it is I'd rather they just don't like sort of do anything too dangerous or too risky like that, because that is pretty dangerous, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I don't condone them. I just remember you last week getting really, really touchy about unprotected chair shots. So I'm looking forward to seeing the hardcore division come late '98. You're gonna love that. Every week, unprotected shots on Raw, unprotected shots on Nitro, unprotected shots on ECW.
I'll just stop mentioning it after a while because I'll get used to it. But it's just the fact that you don't see them now, and there's a reason why you don't see them now. Yeah.
That's fair. Cactus Jack comes out. He gets taken out by Shane Douglas. They're having a match on February 17th. Sandman that just comes in, nails everyone with a kendo stick, including the ref, and the crowd fucking love this. Meanie does a moonsault off the top on Stephen Richards by accident. Beulah McGillicuddy then tapes a frying pan to Tommy Dreamer's shoe, who hits an enziguri, which gets the win. I really enjoyed that.
That's quite clever.
Yeah,
that's quite clever.
I gave it 3 stars. I really, 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 really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was very, very, very clever move to do to Tommy. It was quite inventive. It's at this point where I thought the show was sort of getting into, like, let's be honest, Raw and Nitro on modern standards. This is where I thought it was. I could easily see the show being on in 2021. Well, 2020 because there's crowds, but 2020, and being a not maybe not the best show of the year or anything like that, but actually being quite a good show of modern standards, which is good, very good.
Absolutely. Then we had the WWA World Welterweight title on the line. It's Rey Mysterio Jr. defending against Juventud Guerrera, which, if you said this 2 years' time, you're looking at a big WCW pay-per-view cruiserweight title match. Mm-hmm. The WWA is technically still around, but it became defunct in a way because they haven't had a show since 2017. But this current belt here that we saw, Bandido from Ring of Honor is that division's champion, which is absolutely crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely mental.
I mean, this is like watching like Will Ospreay versus Ricochet, isn't it? Like not as
athletic.
No, but for 1996 standards, like if you were watching this at the time, this would be the match that you'd. Well, there's no internet, so I don't know how you'd discuss it, but this would be the one that you'd be like just tune in for this kind of thing. Like this was for like compared to anything else we've watched during this time of doing this podcast. This was certainly one of the most modern standards and best matches that I think it is the best match that I've seen since doing this, to be fair.
Really? See, I don't know, though, because I really, really enjoyed the Hogan and Flair match, didn't I? I really praised that. I don't know why. It really did it for me. It really wet my whistle. Maybe it was just in a really great mood and I watched it. Like, this was great. It's just we're not at that elite WCW level yet. When these guys have been seasoned, give these guys 2 more years of mainstream experience.
But they're younger than me in this, I think.
Yeah, they're fucking young as shit.
21 and Rey Mysterio's 23, isn't he? So they're all, young kids at this point.
Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. But there was just spots. It was just spots everywhere. It was. This would fit perfectly on an AEW show.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't outstay its welcome either. It was 10 minutes in, out. That's it. All you really need, to be honest. Are you going to mention the post-attack beatdown that happened as well?
Yeah.
This match?
Yep. So the finish came when Juventud Guerrera looks like he was going to go for a razor's edge off the top. Ray Hurricane Runner off the top gets the win. And then post-match, Taz and Ray brawl. Ray gets sent out on a stretcher. That's what I've got on my notes. But I saw then Joey Styles going in the ring where women came out. Am I missing something here?
Don't believe so, no.
Nope.
Do not believe so.
women came out. She says, tune in every Monday night for hot action like this. Now, she keeps saying, Monday night, but could they this promoting Raw as well?
Yeah, probably. I didn't really. This was the same as last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Sandman came out, death stick in the mouth.
Yeah.
Says, you've been a bitch your whole life, and then she's basically trying to get Scorpio Sky to join WCW and Sandman, but
I legitimately thought I was watching the wrong show at the start. Yeah, because I skipped it forwards before I started watching it. Don't ask me why I did. I have no idea. But when I put it on initially, I was like, hang on, isn't this the same one from last week? Because it is pretty much identical.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And so when she gets taken, her being woman, gets taken out, through the back door, these disgusting fans were molesting her on the way out. And
yeah,
that's fucking dirty. Like, if that was 2021, the girl would have stopped and slapped him.
No, definitely. And if you look at the whole shit that happened with the UK wrestling scene last year, that was off-putting. I now get what you meant last week. You didn't necessarily meant him carrying him out. You more meant the fans, what they were doing, didn't you?
Yeah. It's disgusting. Yeah. It's honestly, it's disgusting.
It's vile.
It's touching her, like... Yeah, in the end of the day, you're paying to see her wrestle. That doesn't give you the right to touch her. I don't care how much you fucking spent. And it's the same as a guy. You don't you wouldn't touch a wrestler's dick when he's walking on the way to the ring, would you? You wouldn't slap his ass. But it's a girl. Oh, ECW, I've had a couple of drinks. It's disgusting. Honestly, vile. If you listen to this show right now, and you're one of the 1,200 people who went to this show, and you're one of the people who touched the woman on the from the legs to the butt to the breast area, you are a piece of shit. You are honestly a piece of shit, and I want you to turn off. You are a piece of shit. It's just if that was 2021.
Me too.
Scorpio Sky would have put her down and punched him in the face, and he damn right would have deserved it. Oh, it really triggered me watching that.
It was horrible. It wasn't great. It didn't affect me as much as it affected you, but it's still watching that shit now, especially with the whole what's happened with Marilyn Manson recently and what's happened with the UK wrestling scene. I don't know if you know too much about that, but like Jimmy Havoc and Marty Scurll and all that. Like,
I will.
Seeing this in a show. Good, but seeing this in a show needs to actually be addressed. It's wrong, and it shouldn't really happen. People should, treat people with a bit more respect, or not touch people inappropriately without their consent is probably the best way to put this, because it is vile.
And that's including fans as well. That's including fans paying money to go to a show. Does not give you a right to touch females inappropriately, regardless of the time. Obviously, it's a bit different. As disgusting as it sounds, the times were a bit different back then. Because, if that was 2021, I fully believe that she would have gone out and slapped him. If that was 2021.
I think if it was 2021, he'd be ejected. Whoever touched her would be ejected from the venue completely. They just wouldn't be allowed back in, and they'd probably be banned from all future events doing that shit. So just don't do that. It's just inappropriate and horrible.
Roger that. Then we go to Bubba Ray Dudley against JT Smith, the highly anticipated rematch from last week's Hardcore TV. Bubba Ray Dudley can't hit his Bubba Bomb because he stutters until Big Dick Dudley hits him in the back for motivation. I am not joking. And then,
it's generally funny though. I quite liked it.
And then he's just dancing in the ring to a dubbed version of Highway to Hell, and it's terrible.
I told you that, didn't I? Did you watch that when I told you, or was that before you saw it? Because I heard it. Obviously, my passion outside of this is quite heavy music, so ECW themes I'm going to notice. So if they have a random Pantera or Slayer song halfway through it, and it's not that, I will be able to just be like, that's just a rip off. This is 100% a rip off of AC/DC's Highway to Hell. But the thing is that the guitar in it isn't even played well.
Do you reckon it's just Bubba in the back? There's just there's everyone be quiet, and they're literally all just making noises with their mouths rather than a guitar.
It's like they're playing it right, and then every 2 minutes, every minute they hit a wrong note, And it's like, why are you doing this? This is shit. The actual match was good, though. I've got to admit, the actual match was pretty good. But you have missed a match, though. You have missed a match.
The prestigious Jericho Van Dam.
It's not your fault you've missed it. No. On this show, for some reason, Chris Jericho had his debut match in ECW, and it wasn't shown on the network. It was actually shown as a Hidden Gems package. So if you want to watch this, you actually have to search for it. I have forgot what it was called now, but it was like a title like Chris Jericho versus RVD Hidden Gems match, and it was quite difficult to obtain. I don't recommend searching for it too long because it is a pretty bog standard match. It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't one of Jericho's best, and it wasn't one of RVD's best. So watch it if you want, but don't spend like 10 hours searching for it like I did. Not fun. I didn't. No, probably that's a lie. Probably about 10 minutes searching for it like I did. It was
what I didn't even. I was like, you know what? It's ECW. They probably just didn't fucking record the footage. That's my take on it. I was like, fuck it. If they can't be fucked to record it, I can't be fucked to watch it.
No, I actually read it online. They have recorded it, but there's no commentary. It's dead, and there's a chant going, "This is shit" over it.
Do you reckon maybe that's why they took it out? Do you reckon maybe that's why they took it out, to try and protect Van Dam and Jericho, are probably employed at the time?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was Jericho's debut. So imagine having a guy like, I don't know, he'd be a big star now, like Seth Rollins. Imagine him having his debut match on Raw, first match away from the Shield, or just even with the Shield. And then you're watching it, and all you hear is, "This is shit. This is shit." You're not.
Oh god.
You're not gonna want to watch him again, are you?
No. That's. Oh man, they probably removed it from the VHS. I reckon they removed it from the VHS. Then for sure, just removed it.
I don't know. There's no commentary on it anyway. I'll say that much.
Maybe it was a dark match. Possibly.
No. It was recorded with complete camera angles, so I'm assuming they wanted to use it, but because it's not like a dark match is just one handheld footage, isn't it? Usually, this was recorded like an actual TV show, like the rest of it was. They just had no commentary over it, so I'm assuming that they made the decision not to include it.
Yeah, interesting. If anyone knows why, the actual reason, fucking hit us up, because that's an interesting one. And then we went to Mr. Hughes against Sabu. Hughes was from WWF, where he left, but he's been in ECW since 1993.
You've not mentioned Bam Bam Bigelow.
What are you talking about, Bam Bam Bigelow? What are you on about? At the top of the show, Bam Bam got involved. He took out. He didn't take out. He had a brawl with Taz.
Wait, I thought he came out during the later segment. Did he not? After the woman bit, did he not come out during then, or is that?
He might have done. What was your take on it? Because I just have the woman stuff.
I think you are right. I think it is just the woman stuff. But I thought when Ray was getting beaten up, he actually came out and he was there during the Pitbulls bit as well. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah. Bam Bam would have come out because of the fact that Taz was there, because they're building up Taz and Bam Bam, aren't they? So it would have made sense to have Bam Bam there. I'm looking forward to that, man. I know it's not going to be at the level of their 98 match, but Bam Bam's so fucking good.
I reckon it'll be good. They're both pretty seasoned at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, but obviously they're not main eventers at this point. But just still, I hope they get fucking lots of time.
Definitely.
Anyway, but Mr. Hughes, this guy, just before he left WWF to go to ECW, was wrestling The Undertaker regularly on his last few weeks on house shows. And he just jumped ship to ECW. I'm like, imagine that now. You're told that's like them going up to, here's a guy in WWE that doesn't ever get used.
I can name you 5 people that have wrestled programs with The Undertaker that you don't hear from now. Undertaker is like the cursed kiss of death, in my opinion. I can name you 5 separate people. Do you want me to do it now?
Yeah, go on. It's a bit of fun. Vladimir
Kozlov.
Yep.
Great Khali.
Yep.
Ezekiel Jackson.
Oh.
Tyler Rex. Oh. Which actually, if we're actually going to do a bit of one, he actually came out as transgender today. So
yeah, good on him.
Congrats on her for that. Yeah.
Awkward. Carry on.
It's alright. Carry on. And he also wrestled Chavo Guerrero just before he left as well, when he was part of La Familia.
Oh, man.
So yeah, Undertaker is legitimately the kiss of death.
But the thing is, though, like, imagine I guess 93 Undertaker's a lot different to 2008 to, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Undertaker's a bit different. But this match, I actually enjoyed this Mr. Hughes against Sabu. Now, I praised Mr. Hughes. I gave him I bigged him up a little bit. I was probably the nicest anyone's talked about Mr. Hughes in a long time. Mm-hmm. So after my praise of him, watching him versus Sabu for the first time in your eyes, what was your opinion on Mr. Hughes?
I think he was okay. I don't think he was... I thought the match was brilliant, but I thought Sabu carried a lot of it. I thought the match was good, but I think you were a bit overpraising of him, to be fair. I'm gonna be honest.
Did I damage the match because your expectations of Mr. Hughes were just too high?
No, but I was expecting like Samoa Joe Keith Lee kind of athleticism. You said it was like a flicky big guy. I was expecting something like that.
Now you got to remember, I'm talking Mr. Hughes from '93. You know, 3 years earlier, and that's what I remember from him. So I remember seeing him on a few Raws when I went back and watched the first few Raws on the network, and he was a bit more athletic than he is here. But he was. Yeah. I thought this match was all right. I enjoyed the big man. It was finally felt like a traditional wrestling match. Obviously, there was the ECW style, but it felt like a TV style match. You had the big guy against a smaller man. There was rest holds. There was stuff like that, which I really enjoyed.
Toilet seat.
What was that? Sorry.
A toilet seat was randomly in it for some reason.
Yeah. But that's ECW. But Sabu got the win with the springboard leg drop whilst holding the chair, which is always fucking sweet. I got the win. I enjoyed it. I gave it 2 3/4. I probably overrated it just because I'm apparently the biggest Mr. Hughes fan out there. But I really enjoyed it. I really did. It got Sabu a win. Needed a win here. Just keep building him up for his match with Taz coming up in a year's time.
Was it this match or was it the next match where they threw a load of random shit in the ring?
Yeah, that was the main event, man. That was
right, okay. Right, in this one, they somehow still had a toilet seat from somewhere with like some writing to his girlfriend or something on it. They had like a Nintendo that someone brought in, a GameCube. They call it a fucking Nintendo, and I don't know why. A GameCube that they brought in, and then they just had little random crap that people brought in the crowd. I think they had like a mannequin torso and shit like that. It's just like, where are they getting off this crap from?
Sad. It's sad. So the main event of the night, you had Sandman and T-Code Scorpio against the Gangsters. Mm-hmm. And this was every weapon you've ever seen. There was a fucking noose in there. New Jack came out of a noose. He didn't use it, thank fuck. And I don't know if you felt this as well. And I kind of got a big fight feel when they came out. I don't know why. I just kind of that feeling of, this is a big match, a big fight feel. I don't know if it's just the way they came out. Kind of, they did a great job.
No, I didn't get that, but
okay,
I got something. Okay. I got something that was equally as fun. So I know New Jack is a fucking mental case. That's how I know New Jack. New Jack is the guy that throws a guy off like a big scaffold, and New Jack is the guy that batters a 70-year-old for some random reason called Gypsy Joe. In this match, he was just as mental. He hit him with blimmin' hockey sticks. Random bits of crap were thrown in the ring. Legitimately, like I saw like crisp packets being thrown in the ring. It was like, if you watch this now, and then chairs were like going over people's heads by like these mental drunk bastards chucking them in the ring.
Oh. Yeah, it was literally like Jack when one spot where Jack hit him in the head with a frying pan. And the frying pan he hit it so hard, the frying pan bounced off his head, and it just went woof, just straight off camera, straight into the crowd. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Do you think these guys just get completely lathered up before these shows? Like, I don't mean like casually drunk. I mean legitimately like out of it. Well, they're chucking chairs and like random shit like that. It's like you've got to be a bit. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be in like a Raw show now. Just be like next to like I don't know some kid or something. Just
and there's a frying pan flying at your head. Yeah, that'd be fucking great. WWE would never do that. And then after all of that, the match ends with Scorpio Sky with a roll up, getting the win. And then post match they did some more brawling. So the show ends with Sandman. He's laying on his back. He's flat out. Scorpio Sky puts a death stick in the Sandman's mouth, gets a lighter, lights it up, which wakes up Sandman. He sits up. He has a couple of tokes of his death stick.
Death stick.
You're getting the reference, right?
I am. Yeah.
You're gonna buy some death sticks now.
Oh no, I didn't actually get that. No, I just
okay.
Just because cigarettes are unhealthy.
Oh no, right. So, have you watched the Star Wars films?
Yes, I've seen Star Wars. I don't remember a cigarette being in Star Wars, but carry on.
So on the second one, when Obi-Wan is at the bar, and the guy goes, "Hey, you want to buy some death sticks?" He's like, "I don't want to buy any death sticks." He's like, and then he's like, "You want to go home and rethink your life?" Death sticks are cigarettes. He's offering him a cigarette, and then Obi-Wan's telling him you need to go home and rethink your life. So me and my mates for the past 5 years, every time we say cigarettes, we just say death sticks.
Death sticks. Oh, fair enough. What I will say though, I don't think it's advisable for your friend that's passed out to put a cigarette in his mouth and light it.
Absolutely. And then he gets a beer whilst he's got the cigarette. He's just taken the cigarette, and Scorpio Sky tips upside down, literally downs it to Sandman, jugs it. So not only did he just get a massive nicotine rush after wrestling for 10 minutes, he then also had the beer, and I mean he downed a full one, and he had a cigarette earlier in the show, probably a few beers. I reckon it was a good night out for Sandman. These ECW shows.
I reckon most of these shows he's completely out of it. I'm not even gonna hide that fact. I reckon Sandman is pretty fucked off the time, to be fair, watching him on these shows. He staggers about a hell of a lot. He just seems to sort of stand there awkwardly. Like he doesn't appear. He's very good at acting drunk if he's not drunk, isn't he?
Yeah, he either should get an Emmy award or he kind of needs to sort himself out a little bit, and touch wood, he's all right in this day and age. But yeah, I gave it a 1.5 stars just because it was fun. It didn't matter.
Out of 5?
Yeah, 1.5 stars.
Really? I thought this was about 3 stars. I quite enjoyed it.
You gave it 3.
Yeah, I like New Jack matches because they're just mental bar fights.
Okay,
it's great.
But to be fair, what did you give Hughes and Sabu?
Like a 2.5. Like it was all right, but I'll give this 3.5. Then I'm giving that 2.5.
Oh Jesus! 3.5 for a couple of guys hitting with fucking trash cans, and I thought I was coming on here being generous, giving this a 1.5 stars.
No, I loved it. I love New Jack though. New Jack's a mental bastard. He's great.
all right. We'll go with that. 1.5 stars, and you got 3.5. That's interesting. I get. Yeah. To be fair, it makes sense to me, given Hogan and Flair so much praise, and they're not enjoying this. But with that in mind, speaking of Hogan and Flair, WCW Nitro from the 5th of February 1996 will be the next episode. That'll be episode number 8. And then episode number 9 will obviously be Monday Night Raw from
Did you have the card for that?
96. I do not have the card. I'm what's called unprofessional, unprepared, and unwilling to Google it. If you have it, you're more than welcome to break down the card. Because I know with Nitro, we're approaching Superbrawl, aren't we? Because I think that this should be the go-home show for Superbrawl. No, that's next week. No, that's next week, isn't it?
I have no idea. Don't confuse me. But I'm going to read it for this week's anyway. February 5th, 1996. So you got a few dark matches, which are Conan versus Devon Storm for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. The Barrio brothers, Fidel Sierra and Ricky Santana versus the Stud Stable, Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater.
Jesus.
Johnny B. Bad versus DDP for the WCW Television Championship. Now this is where the actual card comes into place. This is February 5th, 1996. You've got Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth and Woman versus Chris Benoit for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. That'll be good. And then we can, by the way, anything good, I don't know if you want to echo this, anything good I say about Chris Benoit, I'm talking primarily in ring. I do not support
of course.
condone anything about that man. But yeah, the next match is the Dungeon of Doom, which is Hugh Morris and the Tapmaster with Jimmy Hart versus the Four Horsemen, which is Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman. Marcus Alexander Bagwell versus Ric Flair with Woman, and Lex Luger and Sting versus the Road Warriors for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. Why aren't
they saving that for Super Brawl? Because Super Brawl's the Sunday. No.
Brilliant. It's really good, isn't it?
Oh, why are they doing that for? Oh, Why have they done that for? Oh no.
That's really good, isn't it? It's really good, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's going to beat WWF Raw this week. So that's February 5th, 1996.
Right. What about Raw whilst we're at it? Well, whilst we're at it, we'll give a bit of a Raw one as well before we wrap this bad boy up. Because that Nitro looks fun. That Nitro looks really great. And obviously it's the go-home show for Super Brawl. So touch wood, they sell me on it. Regardless if they don't, I'm going to watch anyway. But yes, that'll be the first.
I don't think it'll sell me on Super Brawl, but I think it'll be a brilliant show. I think it'll spaff off a lot of what's going to be on Super Brawl though, which is fine. So the one it's the last one from January 22nd, 1996 tapings. Finally, we get new ones. This is the British Bulldog and Joe Casino with Jim Cornette versus Two Dudes with Attitude, which is Diesel and Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Hakushi versus the 1-2-3 Kid with Ted DiBiase.
Oh, that should be good. That should be very good.
And Bret Hart versus The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, The Undertaker's with Paul Bearer. So that is two fun shows. Yeah.
Magic. I think now we're past this kind of New Year's phase, and they're both on the pump here, both putting their foot to the floor. These look great. I wish I read the cards. I would have been more encouraged to watch them earlier. God darn it. But with that in mind, anything you wish to promote before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, so I'm just doing this podcast for the time being. But it's going to be at Broadcasting 170 if you ever do anything. So just keep your eyes on there, I'd say.
Absolutely beautiful. So make sure you, however you're watching this, make sure you follow, subscribe, share, do the business. Appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, episode 7 of the 25 Years Ago podcast. We'll be back with episode 8 and 9. So with that in mind, stay safe, stay well, stay extreme. Do not touch women if you're a wrestling fan whilst they're on their way back from the ring, and we'll be catching her ass.
Don't touch women without consent.
That's a better way of saying it. That in mind, we're a fucking face mask. We'll be catching your asses down the line.